Hello and welcome to the CultCast, the best Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host today, Leander Caney, and joining me we have D. Griffin Jones coming in from Ohio. Hello, Griffin.
Good evening. I have bad news for our listeners. The Cult of Mac Apple Financial Earnings Call live streamathon is sadly canceled. The tightrope walking act I hired came down with smallpox. And it just wouldn't be a Cult of Mac Apple Financial Earnings Call live streamathon without live tightrope walking. So sorry to everybody who was looking forward to that.
I thought it was going to be because of that truck that tipped over with all those COVID-infected monkeys. They're not that far from Ohio.
That's right. Isn't that 28 days later? Are these things still on the loose?
Yeah, well, freaking Planet of the Apes time.
Right.
Who are you?
Yeah, and hello, Lewis.
Hi, couldn't resist. I'm on high alert with those monkeys running around, man.
I bet, yeah.
All right. Well, if we see one come flying through the window, like with a straight razor, we'll know that it's monkey shines, right?
Mm-hmm. Keep a watch on that tree behind you, Lewis.
Uh-oh. You never know. You start seeing them swinging from the limbs. Take cover.
I'd love a pet monkey.
Yeah, you would, right? Until it ripped your face off.
I don't know. Yeah, right, exactly. There is that, but I know. I trained to go get me a beer from the fridge, and
you just need to get a $20,000 1X robot, and it'll slowly and poorly get one for you.
What a scam that is! Did you see it? The completely misleading ad. And
see it? I ordered one.
Did you really?
No, I did not.
It's a tele-operated thing, isn't it? I mean, it's a completely absurd. I can't imagine anyone's dropping any money on that. I saw some Robert Scoble ridiculous. Actually, to give him some credit, he actually did point out that it was tele-operated.
What do you mean tele-operated?
Joanna Stern did at the Wall Street Journal did a video on this thing where she was invited to take a look at this humanoid robot thing, and they keep cutting between this robot that's slowly and poorly doing these basic tasks, and this guy wearing a Meta Quest 3 headset with two controllers, and he's basically controlling the entire thing.
Right.
It's this company, and their whole pitch is if you buy one of the things, you have to be comfortable with the fact that some dude in a data center is going to be wearing a VR headset and looking through your house.
You're kidding me.
We need a lot of training data to get these robots to work, and so if you buy one of these for the first year, it's basically just going to be a dude controlling it for you.
Oh my God.
So it's a $20,000 robot that comes with a $500 a month subscription.
And it couldn't even do the basic stuff really either.
No.
It couldn't close a dishwasher. It couldn't really fold anything up. It was kind of this doesn't look very compelling. All right. Anyway, let's get on with the show. This week we are going to be talking about Project Bongo. Project Bongo's back. We have a discussion about when OLED is coming to every single iPad. That's probably one of the most exciting segments of the show. And AirPods Pro 3. We huge investigation by the Cult of Mac reportage team. We uncovered a massive scandal with AirPods Pro 3.
You bought me a bunch of airplane flights that I'm just going to be taking and testing all these things in detail.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
we're
flying
testing,
to Mumbai and
right,
London
and every altitude, every plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll dive into that, and then when you should upgrade your iMac. We have a kind of puzzling question from one of the readers, which I personally have no idea how to answer, but we'll get to that later. And then we're going to be doing the full reviews of the M5 Vision Pro and the Apple Watch Series 11. Maybe. Okay, we'll see.
Promise never kept.
Yeah, I know. We've been promising to do this for 3 weeks, or maybe even 4. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll get around to it this week. We'll see if we have time. Although I've loaded up the show with all kinds of intricate, detailed discussions of vapor chambers and OLED screens and all kinds of stuff like that. So we may run out of time. Before we start, let's thanks to our sponsor this week, NordStellar. NordStellar is an amazing cyber threat targeting platform that helps you proactively monitor when your company or your website may be under threat. It looks for data breaches, it monitors the dark web, and it checks for vulnerabilities and protects against cyber squatting. It safeguards employees and customers from account takeovers, phishing, and identity abuse. It detects leaked credentials on the dark web early, which allows you to take action before they're exploited by hackers. It even monitors your partners, and it identifies third-party leaks and targeted attacks that put your company at risk. So this is by the same company from behind NordVPN, which is a really great company. They do a lot of really good products. So it's this is not some fly-by-night operation. This is a trusted bunch of experts. They have competitive pricing. It's very flexible plans. It scales as your business grows. They have competitive pricing, entry-level pricing for small businesses. So it's time to get proactive. Most companies only act after a breach. Be the one that's prepared. Defend your business with NordStellar. Get an exclusive offer. Unlock your 10% discount on NordStellar with the coupon code CultCast10. CultCast10 by going to NordStellar/CultCast. Just mention it to NordStellar. And so we'll put all the details in the show notes if you're interested in protecting your company from cyber threats. So, Lewis, let's talk about the iPhone 20. And there's going to be a big change. I'm actually really kind of excited about this.
Yeah, it sounds pretty awesome. The headline on the story in Cult of Mac is iPhone 20 could make buttons a thing of the past. After years of speculation and false starts, Apple's ambitious plan to eliminate mechanical buttons from the iPhone family may finally become a reality in 2027 with the 20th anniversary iPhone, according to the latest supply chain rumor. Supposedly, Apple has completed functional verification of its solid-state haptics button system and is preparing for mass production on the iPhone 20, or maybe the iPhone XX, who knows, according to Chinese blog Instant Digital. The revamp would affect every button on the device. The power button, volume controls, action button, and camera control would all transition to solid-state alternatives featuring localized haptic feedback. So that means when you press a button, rather than physically moving when pressed, these buttons would simulate the sensation of clicking by producing precise vibrations. And you've probably felt this with AirPods. You've probably felt this with various other Apple devices. It's always magical. They do a fantastic job of making these things, making it feel like you're actually interacting with this button. It's kind of wild. And this is I love this. The project is reportedly codenamed Project Bongo. And that is a great name. Originally slated for the iPhone 15 Pro before it being canceled late in development. And then we heard we were supposed to get it in iPhone 16 Pro. Didn't happen. This latest rumor timing aligns with separate rumors suggesting the 20th anniversary iPhone could feature Apple's most dramatic design overhaul since the iPhone 10. Reports indicate Apple is developing a borderless display that curves around all four edges of the device, creating an uninterrupted glass surface. In such a design, traditional mechanical buttons, which require physical openings in the chassis, would indeed become design liabilities. I like that turn of phrase there on Cult of Mac. Solid-state haptic buttons could integrate seamlessly into the frame, preserving the visual continuity Apple appears to pursue.
Unfortunately, that makes absolutely no sense.
What?
Well, if the screen curves around the front, right, presumably like some of the Samsung ones, then the buttons, where are they going to put the buttons? Like, because the sides.
Well, that's why they're
be
saying
glass.
these wouldn't be physically
They're not
clicking buttons. They wouldn't need to cut anything out of the side of the display.
But wouldn't they have to build it into the glass?
Underneath the glass?
Because the glass is the sides, right? The glass, the sides of the phone are glass from this curved display.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure Apple has a team working on this, Leander. They build those little motors or whatever they are behind them that make the thing vibrate when you touch it. Where do they put it in the AirPods? It's not like in the plastic; it's behind the plastic, right?
Oh, what? Behind the plastic?
Well,
yeah, like how AirPods when you click the stem of like an AirPods Pro, it's not an actual button that clicks. It just simulates the click.
Yeah. I know, and it's amazing. I mean, they're so good now that I was tempted to write about this, like how good they are these days, because they used to be kind of finicky, right? And it was like sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. Now it's like it's 100% for me anyway. For at least a couple of years, and like you say, the magical experience of it. It feels like a button. It's crazy. It's with one of these, the trackpads too, how that works, amazing. So they've had it forever, but the
iPhone 7 had the haptic home button.
Oh, right.
And
Could
nobody
never remember
remembers
which
that
model.
because everybody forgets the iPhone 7 because it was the one that looked exactly like the 6S and was the 1 year before the iPhone 10, which everybody bought. But the iPhone 7 had the haptic home button, and it's excellent. Same with like the iPhone SE after a few years.
Yeah, and how old is that?
This was 2016.
How do you remember all the years?
Yeah.
Well, you remember the trick is that you remember like a few milestones, like iPhone 4 2010, iPhone 7 2017, and then you just work backwards. This was before the iPhone 10, so it must have been 2016.
I would also like to point out, note this level of show prep. He has the iPhone 7 sitting around to show off the haptic button. That's great.
That's actually just a coincidence. I noticed it sitting right there as you were talking, so I was like, oh yeah, I wonder if it's powered on. Yeah, it turns out to be.
Well, I'm all for the haptic buttons. Yeah, bring them on. I mean, I guess maybe is the problem like putting in the taptic engine behind each and every one. I mean, that's a lot of little taptic engines all over the place. I mean, it would be what?
I imagine probably like the three on the side, like the action button, the volume up and volume down, could probably share one.
Share one, yeah.
I mean, the thing about the iPhone 7, like the haptic home button, I think the whole iPhone only has like one taptic engine, and they just moved it to the bottom. And it does kind of feel like when you press the home button, it kind of feels like the whole bottom of the phone is clicking. Like you're pressing in the whole thing at once, kind of like, an old style Magic trackpad. But I imagine they could probably just have like one powerful one on the side with those three, and then maybe like another one by the power button on the other side. It'd be interesting to see. I was looking forward to this when this was a rumored thing, with the iPhone 15 and 16. So maybe they'll bring it back. That should be exciting. I mean, the other part of this is that when the iPhone switches to all screen, I think they said that the camera and like Face ID sensors are going to move under the display as well, and it'll just be like a slightly darkened part of the screen. Like it won't be a big black cutout, but there'll be like an area on the top that gets like a little bit dimmer. I think that'll be pretty cool. They could adapt the dynamic island to work around that. It's an exciting time. It'll be an exciting phone.
Yeah, indeed, and it'll only cost about $3,000. Mm-hmm. What about? Wasn't there some rumors that it might be completely transparent?
Completely transparent? What?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Like like literally a slab. I saw some renders. Like it's literally a slab of glass, and you can see all the way through it. So they're going to make transparent batteries. Transparent.
Yeah, that'll be quite a coup.
Yeah,
that's what I'm really looking forward to. We'll see. So when is it supposed to be coming out? 2027.
27. 20 years later.
Next year will be the folding iPhone. The year after that will be the 20th anniversary iPhone. So lots to look forward to.
Cool. All right, so other important changes coming to the lineup is OLED screens coming to every iPad, which was reported earlier this week by a certain outlet we won't mention. Of course, Apple's been using OLED screens, and I didn't realize this, of course. Like, I was like, oh, wow, I can't wait for these futuristic OLED screens to come everywhere. And I didn't realize that I've already been using them for about 10 years. OLED screens have been used in the Apple Watch since 2015, the iPhone 10 in 2017, and the iPad Pro got the OLED screen in 2024. Of course, OLED, for people who don't know, it's much better than LCD. Well, actually, it's better than LCD, but not much better. There's a couple of drawbacks, but it works because it has self-illuminating pixels. It doesn't have a backlight. LCDs have a backlight that tends to bleed through when it's trying to display blacks or dark colors. Alternatively, OLED screens, each pixel is individually controlled. It can be turned on and off individually. So it'll make for perfect blacks. It'll just remain off. And it creates much better contrast, perfect blacks, wider viewing angles, faster response times. It's perfect for movies and for games. There's no motion blur. It's a great technology. And oddly, it's, the iPad is the one Apple product lineup that, and the Macs, of course, MacBooks, and Mac screens. So actually, there's quite a lot of Apple products that don't have them. So, but they're rolling it out into the iPad, and this is going to be starting next year with the iPad Mini. It is supposed to be getting an OLED screen. And
I think that's the most surprising part of this rumor. They're starting with the iPad Mini.
Yeah.
It's the smallest screen.
Love.
They started out with the Apple Watch because it's very small.
Well, they also have it on the 13-inch iPad Pro. Not exactly a trend, but yeah.
But and actually, this is all part of a rumor. The iPad Mini is going to get waterproof. It's going to be an underwater. You can take it in the shower, take it in the tub. At the underwater iPad, it's supposed to be getting fully waterproof next year. But so anyway, this is part of this redesign. It's getting this OLED screen. The next one is the iPad Air, which won't be getting an OLED screen when it gets refreshed next spring 2026. It's going to stick with the traditional LCD, but the follow-up model will use the OLED panel. And this is apparently, part of Apple's pattern of updating the iPad Air every spring. And the budget model, will that get an OLED screen? No, never. That's probably never going to be coming. Apple doesn't have active plans to move its entry-level iPad to OLED, said Bloomberg.
Never say never. Eventually, OLED screens are going to be cheaper than traditional LCD screens, just like how, basic TFT LCD displays aren't, really used very commonly anymore. Eventually, OLED screens will be cheap enough where it'll come to the basic iPad, but I think Mark said that's not currently in Apple's plans, but, give it 5 years, probably.
Right. Yeah. Never say never, as you say. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the drawback to this is cost. When Apple added the OLED to the iPad Pro, it increased the cost of the tablet by 200 smackers.
Phew.
Another point there is that when they added the iPad Pro, they added a tandem OLED display.
Ooh.
One of the drawbacks with OLED displays is that they can't always get as bright as an LCD display, but which is why Apple stacked two of them on top of each other for the iPad Pro. I think, right. and I think the iPad Pro is the only one of Apple's OLED displays that has a tandem OLED. So I imagine if it's coming to the iPad Mini, especially, it'd probably just be a regular OLED, as is in the iPhone and Apple Watch.
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's the probably the one big drawback. There are two big drawbacks, right, for OLED screens, right? One is the brightness; they don't get as bright as backlit LCD screens, and burn-in as well. They're supposed to be prone to burn-in. So if you remember the Mac toasters screensaver, we're going to be running those. Although actually, I did read that there's supposed to be mitigation technology built into these things, but you don't think it works very well, Griffin?
A little bit. There are a few different tricks you can do. Like on OLED TVs, what they can do is they'll actually have, if you buy a 4K OLED TV, the actual number of pixels on the screen will be slightly bigger in each dimension. That's because every time you turn it on, it'll slightly shift the image a little bit. Like when you turn it on, the next time it'll be 5 pixels over to the left, or a few pixels up or down or right. And what that can do is that can make the burn-in a little less obvious because it'll be slightly fuzzy, but it can't completely eliminate burn-in. It is a problem inherent to the technology that the organic layer on each pixel gets burned out over time. It wears out, and that can cause a little ghost of an image.
Has anyone ever complained about burn-in though on their iPhones or
Apple
Watch?
I have an iPhone 10 that was handed down to me after the person who had it was done using it, and you can see a few things that are very obviously burned in. The little speed limit sign on Apple Maps, and also the bottom tab bar is burned in with the 5 tabs from the Facebook app or TikTok.
Really?
That's surprising. I thought it would have been home screen stuff.
I mean, you don't spend a lot of time staring at your own home screen. You spend a lot of, if you keep your iPhone on your car dashboard at maximum brightness, which you probably do if you need to drive in the middle of the day, then that Apple Maps screen can get burned in.
Huh.
Or, if you're one of those insane people who keeps their phone on maximum brightness all the time, then it's going to be Facebook or TikTok or something like that.
Wow.
wherever you spend your time.
Yeah.
I keep my iPhone brightness basically as dark as it can to still be a little legible. And in apps that I use where it's an option, I always have the tab bar disappear so that that doesn't happen to me. I think this, the official Twitter app does this. When you scroll through the timeline, the tab bar minimizes or moves off screen, and I do that in the Mastodon client that I have. It has a similar setting so that those icons don't burn at the bottom.
You set that up just so you didn't get burn-in?
Yeah.
Okay. That's never once occurred to me in my entire 59
Well, you didn't
years
know
on
OLED
planet
displays
Earth.
existed until 30 minutes ago. So.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah, well, we have a lot of old technology around this house, so it's I'm kind of looking forward to that. I mean, the OLED screens, I guess I've already been using one and I didn't even know, so I can't wait for that to happen to the rest of the lineup. So this is going to be happening actually at the same time. Let's talk about the new MacBook as well, because it's going to be coming to the first touchscreen MacBook which is rumored to be coming out late 2026, so about a year from now. And that's only one of the major changes. This is going to be a slimmer chassis, touchscreen, of course. And the iPad Pro, that's going to get the M6, but also, because it's such a powerful chip, it's probably going to get one of these new vapor chambers as well, which is going to help with performance. No more thermal chip throttling, so when the thing heats up when you're playing some game, it's not going to throttle its performance. It'll dissipate the heat really efficiently so that you can keep going at full blast. Now, I was going to dive into like a really detailed explanation about how the vapor chamber works, but I think I'll skip that. Actually, I just found out how that works too. I did a little bit of research on it, and I think it's interesting. But
But you thought it was about vaping, right?
yeah, vaping chamber, I wish. It'll be interesting to see it come to the iPad, though, won't it? I mean, this is going to have to be pretty big. It'll have to be a really big vapor chamber. But
yeah, I saw a message on that some people were actually complaining that the iPad Pro does get a little hot and it does thermally throttle occasionally. So, yeah, if they put an M6 in it, I think that's going to be another die shrink. It's likely to, up the heat index a little bit. So, yeah, they put a vapor chamber in it. I mean, the iPad certainly has the space for it. I'm surprised it honestly didn't come to the iPad first. But, yeah, that could be a good change. I think circling back to the MacBook as well, it seems like the M6 MacBook is going to line up a bunch of these changes all at once. A thinner redesign for the first time since 2021, OLED display, touchscreen display. I would be really excited to see that MacBook finally get the cellular chip inside it. Cellular MacBooks. Apple's run out of excuses. They got to make one eventually, right?
Right, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Is that what are the rumors regarding that? Is it?
They're rumored? Saying that the by next year they should have like the C2 cellular chip out, and that might come to the MacBook. It might just be like wish casting on everybody's part, but we'd all like to see it.
Yeah. It's a very odd reason that that they haven't done that before now. I mean, of all the products you'd think that could benefit from it, that's definitely one of them. Along with Face ID. What about, are they going to get Face ID? That's the other thing.
No rumors have said that. I think the problem with Face ID is that the Face ID component is too thick to fit inside like the skinny MacBook lid. Normally you would have like a separate display panel, which is then like covered in glass on one side and covered in plastic on the back side. Like that's how most PC laptop displays are made. But Apple fuses like the actual front of the display component to the actual glass that you touch on the front, and like the metal case on the back of the display is the actual outside of the MacBook lid. Like there's really very little space inside that lid so that it can be as thin as possible, which is nice to have a super thin display, but it also makes it too thin to put a Face ID component inside there.
Well, I've got a free idea for the Apple design team. How about a dynamic plateau over it's called the camera plateau? That would put it on the back of the MacBook
Face
lid.
ID plateau, yeah.
That would totally solve it.
And I'm sure nobody would complain.
No, because I mean,
why don't you make a camera bump on the front of it too, just for good measure?
Why not? It's I don't know. Would I put up with that? A little bump at the back?
No, you would not. It gets snagged every time you put it in a bag. It would snag. Oh my God, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, good point. Okay, well, that's too bad. I always, because Face ID, I love Face ID, and I can't stand the touch one. The touch ID just does not work for me. Even when I say, constantly, I just set up a new one on an iPad and on an older iPad, and it just, even after setting it up, it doesn't work after one weekend.
Have you talked with your physician about this?
Well, yeah, I've got some cream, some cream for my hand, but it gets all greasy cream everywhere, so I tend not to use it.
You need Apple to add Cream ID to the MacBook.
That would work for me for sure. It's all right. Let's move on to this is a big story that we dug into, and we blew up the internet this week with this massive expose of this weird glitch to AirPods Pro 3, which people are complaining that they're having problems when getting on flights. Why don't you tell us about it, Griffin?
So the AirPods Pro 3 feature Apple's most powerful active noise cancellation system and little earbuds, and it's gotten good reviews. The Verge's reviewer tested the new earbuds on a flight and said, quote, "The dull hum of the plane was completely eliminated. though I could still hear announcements if I didn't have audio playing. CNET similarly said that, the AirPods Pro 3 tamping down the cabin noise to a faint hum. But not everybody is having the same experience. Basic Apple Guy wrote on his blog, quote, "The trouble came at 39,000 feet when I first noticed a high-pitched whine coming from my left AirPod. The issue was that the AirPod seal kept loosening, leading to a noise cancellation feedback loop and a painfully loud, piercing screech from the AirPod." Apparently some people were chiming in, saying, corroborating this. Mastodon_David Smith said, quote, "I returned my AirPods Pro 3 because I'd get the painful whistling with any of the ear tip sizes just around the house. I tried it on a plane trip out of curiosity before I actually sent them back, and had a similar experience to you where the constant hum of the plane meant that it happened very regularly." Friend of the show, Stephen Hackett, said, "I bought a backup pair of Pro 2s. So, stocking up. So this is apparently a big problem for some people. They changed the tips on the Pro 3s, and it was causing discomfort for some people. I know, it took a while for my ears to adjust. I guess I'll follow up on that. When I first got my Pro 3s, I had to go down a few ear tip sizes than I was expecting because it just caused a lot of ear pains. A few weeks later, I don't know if I've squished the ear tips down or if they've squished my ears larger, but I no longer get that pain. In fact, I think I might need to go up a size because I feel like they're getting a little loose in my ear again.
I mean, this is definitely a problem, wasn't it? Because we found a lot of stuff on Reddit. There was a whole thread about people complaining about this. There was a lot of people complaining, but it seems to be kind of intermittent. So obviously, not everybody's getting this problem, but it does seem to be a genuine problem. And it seems to be related to...
It seems like you can, if you have the wrong shaped ears, then you can just lose the ear lottery and, get a problem like that. So I recommend for people, first of all, bring the spare ear tips in the box with you on a flight. If you have this problem, if you're traveling, maybe swap them out and see if a different size will work. Maybe you need to go up a size so that...
Wouldn't it be easier to try to find the right, because it does an ear fit tip test, right? Ear tip fit test. There's a test built into the setup, right, or in the settings on your iPhone, so you can actually test the different tip sizes, which I did.
Yeah.
I cycled through the whole bloody lot of them, and then ended up with the original size, and then you really have to squish them into your ears to get the proper, or at least I do in my ears. You have to, to get the right thing. So sometimes it failed the test, but...
And you need to find the right angle to put in the ear pods at. They're slightly oblong. And so sometimes one angle is uncomfortable, but then you need to squish it down a little more.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the other solution is to just turn off active noise cancellation. I mean, the thing is, if you have a big enough ear tip, then it's going to provide some degree of noise cancellation, even passively. Maybe not to the same degree. You might have to turn the volume up a little bit, but turn off ANC and it'll help a little bit.
Oh my God.
The foam insulation in the ear tips will still dull a little bit of the noise. So
I love the idea of taking the spares, though. I would have never thought of that. I would, I don't actually have the Pro 3s because the Pro 2s still just work just fine. So I haven't tried those ear tips, but I think that's a great idea. If you're going to go on a flight, take the spares and see if that helps. One of the weird things in all the Reddit threads, people were saying the same thing. It's the left earbud, which is super weird to me. Why would it be the left earbud in all these cases?
That is bizarre.
So, yeah, I mean, is it a mechanical problem? Is it a software problem? Can Apple fix this on the back end?
They are actually different hardware. The left part is different from the right one. Maybe it's a problem just with the left ones that are being made.
Well, I dug out this old pair of, these are the AirPods Pro first generation, and I dug these out after not using them forever. And when I put the first one in my ear, I get this horrible hiss. And when I put the second one in my ear, the hiss disappears. And it happens on both of them, whichever one I put in my ear first. And I thought it was related to, I did some Googling, and they said, well, clean the microphones on the outside with some alcohol. So I got an old toothbrush, and I dipped it in some alcohol, and I scrubbed the things and cleaned them up. Of course, made no difference whatsoever. So then it kind of seems like, well...
This might be the issue. There's a setting you can set when you when you connect your AirPods to your phone, and you go to settings, you tap on your AirPods. There's a setting that's use ANC with only one earbud in. You might want to turn that off.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that sounds kind of
'Cause
related.
it,
Yeah.
it could be that it's trying to do active noise cancellation with both earbuds when only one of them is in your ear. Or maybe it errantly thinks that both of them are in your ear because the little ear sensor is dirty. There's a variety of things it could be.
I'll give it a try. Give it a try.
I hear
Yeah.
that from time to time too. You're talking about such weird, like tiny little sensors and things, and if your finger's over it, it thinks it's in your ear. I mean, it's amazing technology. I am, a little bit shocked to hear so many people having these problems with them using, AirPods Pro 3 in flights, but. God, that would, if it's actually like some kind of like fundamental problem with them, that would just be horrifying. Because it's still like, I mean, iPhone, Apple Watch, AirPods, these are like, I use these things every day, all day. I love the AirPods Pro too, and I'd just be heartbroken if I bought the threes and I got on a plane and heard this ear-splitting whistling noise.
Well, the irony is that active noise cancelling was invented in the 1950s for airplane pilots to help improve voice communication in the noisy airplane cockpits. So it was pioneered in the 1950s for that, just for airplane radio communication, voice communication.
I had no idea about that. I was fascinated when you brought that up yesterday.
Yeah, and the ANC works, great. I've got this robot vacuum cleaner here that sounds like a 747 taking off, and I stick my AirPods in, you can't hear a bloody thing. Walking down Mission Street, I hear hardly anything. I'm in a little sound bubble. It's ironic that this absolutely fantastic system they built doesn't work on the one place where it's supposed to work, aeroplanes.
It seems like the sort of thing they might be able to fix in software if it detects that like feedback loop, because that sounds like the sort of thing that would be easy to detect on Apple's end, but I don't know. Maybe.
Have you guys heard that whistling? I mean, every now and then I get that to happen somehow. I don't know what combination of like holding one earbud with my hand or putting one in my ear and holding the other one in the hand. Every now and then I get that little like it's feedback. It's just like if you're using an electric guitar and you get too close to the cabinet or something.
That classic feedback noise.
Yeah, you hear that little. And then you shift it in your ear or put the other one in your ear. I again, this happens so infrequently in my daily life here. I don't really know what sequence of events actually triggers it, but I've definitely heard that with the AirPods Pro 2. Yeah. So it's got to be something like that, doesn't it? It's just got to be some weird like the things. This sensor is covered with that, and this is, or whatever. I don't know. It's really odd. I mean. What can it be? I mean, surely Apple can figure this out, right? I mean, surely they can fix it on the back end somehow.
I haven't had that, but it sounds horrifying, and I'm glad I don't have that problem. But I'll report back if it happens to me.
God.
Yeah. I don't want that. I don't want that horrible, Jimi Hendrix feedback loop in my ears when I'm. But we have one more tip in the post, which is bring some foam earbuds, ear tips. Just the regular, not earbuds at all, but the foam ear plugs, and try those. That'll cancel out the sound for you.
And that was one of the things with this. I mean, specifically with this tip in this post, Ed wrote that you could take out one if the left one is squealing and the right one's just fine. Take out the left earbud and put the earplug in your left ear, because I use only one AirPod almost constantly, just because why do I need to wear two if I'm just listening to a podcast? If I'm listening to music or watching a movie or something, I put in both. But if I'm just listening to people talking, I don't need two ears plugged with stuff. So, yeah.
I can't stand that, having only sound coming in one ear.
Really?
I can't stand that at all.
I love it.
No. Deeply annoying to me. I have one last idea, just off the top of the head. Put your AirPods in, and then put over-the-ear headphones on top of your AirPods.
That's painful.
I wonder, does that work if you had like noise cancelling like Bose or headphones over your noise cancelling AirPods? Would that cancel out everything?
It would either do that or make it much worse.
Yeah.
It's going to jam the AirPod into your ear just deeper into the canal. It's going to hurt like crazy.
I've been using mine all the time now as well. I've been using them for hearing aids, which one day I'll write up, maybe next year or the year after. I've just come to love them even more. So thoughtfully built, so well made, so well thought out. all the different controls. It's like the experience of using them is great. Even started using Siri a lot more as well, which
so
I've had
helpful.
mixed luck with. But sometimes it does work, amazingly well. Replying to text and stuff like that, it can be kind of. I almost made a horrible faux pas with some group text. Came very close to sending. So, do you want to send off to the group? Luckily, it didn't. I
Wow.
canceled at the last minute. I can forget what it was.
I think the only thing I don't like about AirPods is when I drop them on the floor and the case opens and they scatter to the four corners of the universe. It's like they're sometimes difficult to find because they are so they will really just take off on a hardwood floor.
Well, it always goes under the refrigerator or something, right? I mean, it doesn't just like let it go in the middle of the floor. It's always in some completely inaccessible position
it's
where
crazy.
you have to crawl on the floor to get them. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, I hope it's not a problem. AirPods 3. I mean, this AirPods, I think, people say Tim Cook doesn't innovate, blah, blah, blah. AirPods, aren't they probably one of the best products that Apple's ever made? I mean, they've got to be. They've got to be right up there with although, I don't know, I mean, you could argue that...
No, they set the standard for how Bluetooth wireless earbuds work. Everybody copied the design of AirPods immediately after AirPods. And, go back to September 2016 when they were announced. Everybody was making fun of them. Like, who's going to spend $159 on $129, whatever it was.
Those goofy looking things.
Yeah, on those goofy looking, earbuds.
Ear fangs, they were called early on.
They did
Everybody's
look ridiculous.
copied them. Everybody's gotten used to it.
It's shocking how you get used to it, And every now and then, now I still see people with the original ones. And it's like, oh, those don't even actually look so bad either, the long ones. I'm always kind of shocked when I see them now because it seems so old. But it's like, what? Not even a decade, right?
Yeah. Well, old enough. Well, I say everyone's got them, haven't they, as well? Everybody's got AirPods. At least here in San Francisco, they're everywhere. AirPods everywhere. All right, let's talk about the Vision Pro. Are you going to give us your full review, Griffin?
Yeah, I'll give the Delta. I'm not going to talk about stuff that I've talked about the last few weeks, but there are a few extra things that I tested since my first impressions last week. The eyesight on the front. Apple didn't mention any improvements to the eyesight displays on the new Vision Pro, but I was curious if, maybe it would look a little better with the M5 powering it. No, it is exactly as crummy as before. I think I don't think eyesight is a bad idea. Because I can see what Apple's going for. You see somebody wearing like a Meta Quest headset and you don't see their eyes. You're just looking at a face of plastic. Eyesight, I think, has the right intention behind it, but I think it's just too blurry, too dark. The display is too small. It's too uncanny, I think.
It's perfect for Halloween, though.
Yeah.
It has that, I don't know.
If anybody trick-or-treated at my house, I'd answer the door with a Vision Pro on and scare them away, give them a proper fright.
Right. But then next time you look outside, you have your front lawn's covered in toilet paper.
Yeah, probably. But I really wonder if there's anything Apple can do to improve the eyesight display. Like, Personas have made a massive leap forward since the terrible, PS3 graphics Personas that they announced only a year and a half ago. It's only been that long, and Personas now look excellent. It must just be like a hardware thing on that weird lenticular display they have on front that makes it look so bad, but they really got to do something there. The dual knit band. So the dual knit band has, the little upper strap on it. I was curious if the upper strap meant that you could use the Vision Pro without a light seal, because that's what I use the Anna Pro top strap that I have. That's what I use it for. I put that top strap on and then it lets me take off the light seal. You get all your peripheral vision back. It's a much better experience in my opinion, honestly. I was curious if the dual knit band would be able to do that. Unfortunately not. It's because it's too floppy. It's all knit. It's not hard plastic. It doesn't have enough strength. Like the Vision Pro sort of falls forwards and sort of puts a lot of pressure on your nose, which isn't very comfortable.
Okay.
So I guess in the meantime, since finishing my review, I took off the dual knit band and basically set up the M5 Vision Pro how I had the M2 one set up before, where I have the solo knit band in back and the Anna Pro top strap on front. So I got another week with it. I'll be enjoying that. The improved pass-through video. I should say that a big thing that helps us in writing these reviews in only like a few days over the weekend is that we actually do a bit of pre-writing. So we knew that the pass-through video was going to be better. So I wrote a few paragraphs saying, pre-writing, oh yeah, these are the statistics, Apple says 10% better. And, I thought it was a little bit better. I had to delete everything that I had pre-written because I'll be honest, I can very barely tell the difference in the pass-through video on the M2 versus the M5. The text is like maybe a little sharper in apps, but again, it's a very minor difference. I honestly feel like the difference that I'm seeing might just be the psychology because I know it's supposed to be better. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I don't know if I could honestly tell if I had if you put a Vision Pro on my face and I didn't know which one it was, I don't think I would be able to guess which one.
Yeah, you wouldn't pass the blind taste test.
Yeah, it's pretty marginal change. What I did notice, though, was the gaming performance. The only time I ever noticed the M2 Vision Pro actually being insufficient, hearing the fans come on, feeling it get a little hot, was full immersive VR gaming. I don't get that at all on the M5. I was playing Job Simulator, which is a pretty basic VR game as far as VR games go.
Job Simulator?
I was going to say, what?
Good God.
If you've never heard of this, it's actually it's a game where you play as a robot pretending to be a human with a bunch of other robots pretending to be humans. I'm not sure how well I could describe it, but there's an auto
sounds
mechanic.
Like you should be signing up for that. That telepresence robot.
Yeah, there's an auto mechanic level where a bunch of people come in with their broken cars and you have to ruin them, stuff like that. It's fun. It's kind of like,
what's the name of the game?
It's called Job Simulator.
It sounds like the last thing I would download. It's like, I just finished work. Let's go simulate a job.
When you describe it that, it's not a very serious game. I'll put it that way. It's very silly. Yeah, I was playing on it for a good hour or so. Didn't hear the fans come on at all. So big improvement there. Battery life. Apple cites the original Vision Pro as having 2 hours of battery life. In my experience of the last year, that's been a little pessimistic. I usually get 2.5 hours or even a little bit more on my M2 Vision Pro. And sure enough, the M5 one is even better than that. They cite 2.5 hours of mixed use. I easily got over 3 hours. I didn't run a complete test 100% to 0%. I should probably do that to get an exact figure, but it took much longer to drain the battery. And I also noticed that, because the battery capacity itself hasn't, changed at all, it charges faster and lasts longer. So nothing but good news there. Mm-hmm. Really, this isn't anything new about the Vision Pro, but I just kind of want to mention it again because it is, nice to say something unapologetically positive about the Vision Pro. If you've never seen your photos on a really big screen, the Vision Pro is absolutely excellent for that. I think maybe one of the best use cases of the Vision Pro really is browsing through your photo library. A lot of people don't look at their photos on anything other than their phone. They've never seen their life's memories, their pictures of their kids on anything bigger than a screen that's 6 inches. So,
well, if you're like me, you don't look at your photos at all. On any device, hundreds of photographs and then never look at them again.
Mm-hmm. The Vision Pro is genuinely the best way to look at your photo library. Blow up all your home videos,
get all
pictures.
The feels. Yeah.
Oh yeah, blow it up on a giant screen that fills your whole wall. Look at your panoramas on this big thing that surrounds you on all sides. I manage my entire photo library on the Vision Pro. I take them on the iPhone. Occasionally I'll do a little bit of editing on the Mac, but the Vision Pro is by far the best way to experience and go through your memories through your photo library.
And what about converting them to 3D photos? Have you done all of that?
Oh yeah, that's great. So in case listeners aren't aware, there's a mode on the Vision Pro where it can machine learning scan through a photo. It has a cool animation that it does where it whooshes through the different depth layers of the photo, and then it makes it look 3D. And to anybody else, it'll just look like 2D. You can't. This isn't something that you can really simulate on a 2D screen. It's just an experience unique to the Vision Pro where your photo suddenly adds depth to it, and it's actually really good at doing that. Spatial photos, spatial videos, they're pretty excellent on the Vision Pro.
Yeah. So you think that's probably the best use case rather than watching movies?
I mean, yeah, you can watch. I don't watch a lot of movies in the Vision Pro, so I guess that photo browsing is top of mind. But watching 3D movies, yeah, it is also very excellent at that. But that's sort of the thing that everybody talks about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no
because
one talks about the
that's
photo
sort of like
browsing.
the obvious use case of any VR headset. But only the Vision Pro is the only headset that can browse through your iCloud photo library to the degree that it can.
Yeah.
Do I think it's worth upgrading from the M2 Vision Pro? Not really. I'm experiencing the M5 for a few weeks, and then maybe when I go back to my M2 Vision Pro, maybe retroactively I'll feel like, oh yeah, I do notice a difference. But like personally, I don't think I do really notice a difference. I don't think it's worth spending another $3,500. And I'm kind of glad because I'm not in a position to drop a second $3,500 on a headset only 18 months later. So I'm really glad because it means that I don't have to feel bad about sticking with the M2 version. If you are still Vision Pro curious, if you're still curious about getting a headset like that, the Vision Pro that you buy today will happen to be a little bit better, and nobody's going to complain about that.
It'll have more headroom, right? Basically, it'll the M2 was going to start to struggle in a couple of years, and the M5 will probably give you 5 years or whatever.
Yeah, because
life.
the M2 Vision Pro, the M2 chip was already 18 months old when it was released. So, but this is the first M5 device, one of the first three, so it'll have much more staying power. I mean, the other thing is that if you're Vision Pro curious but you don't want to drop $3,500, the M2 ones are going for much cheaper on eBay now.
Yeah, right.
You can pick up an M2 Vision Pro for under $2,000.
Is it about $1,500? I saw some for $1,500.
I don't know if I saw like $1,800, $1,900, around the same price as the Samsung XR headset. That's probably only a fraction as good. So
right, yeah, it's definitely much better than the Samsung one, isn't it?
Yeah, don't buy the Samsung one. Buy a used M2 Vision Pro on eBay. That's the pro move right there.
Yeah, magical device. Well worth it if you have the money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, for sitting on your shelf covered in dust.
Jeez.
Worth every penny just to look up at it, which I'm doing right now, looking at mine, which I haven't put on for months. It does look cool. Lewis, why don't you ask the question that we got from Jason Smith on YouTube?
Okay, yeah. So the question is, hiya. I like the term hiya. Hiya. I have an iMac, and for a few years now, I'm finding when I plug in my iPhone Pro and try to transfer my photos, 99% of them fail. Whereas I plug my same iPhone into my partner's iMac, she bought it in 2017, and I never have a problem transferring any photos to her iMac at all. Do you think that I need to invest in a newer iMac, maybe an M3 or M4 model with a 2 terabyte hard drive? The answer is yes, of course. Of course you should buy a new iMac. The fastest one with the most storage possible. I don't know. It's a weird problem. I don't know why this would happen.
Right. When I saw this question, I'm like, what the heck? There's no detail, of course, right? So it's not clear why it isn't imported.
We also don't know which model he has. He says that his partner's iMac was bought in 2017. I don't know if his is even older than that. But, I mean, this is the general problem. If you don't keep up with the latest Apple devices, eventually you slip off the floor of Apple no longer bug tests their software on your device. So if you have, iMac from 2015 or something like that, Apple itself might not be bug testing, how the Photos import works on that particular model of, that Intel chipset or anything like that. The iMac of all of Apple's computers, I think might be among the more unique chipset, especially the old Intel ones. If you have, one of those weird like Fusion hard drive things. So if your iMac is a little older, I would honestly recommend checking out former and future sponsor of the show, Clean My Mac. It might just be that your Mac has accumulated a bit of software weirdness over the last 10 years or so. Run Clean My Mac, see if that flushes a few things out, because a lot of weird things can happen to the Intel Macs over time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're using an Intel Mac at this point, I mean, the obvious answer is yes, upgrade to anything with an M chip, an M series chip, right? I mean, we can't, even if it's super cheap, I mean, why? I can't imagine recommending one of the old Intel ones.
No, definitely not. Yeah, got to definitely get an Apple Silicon. I mean, the M1 machines are really cheap now, aren't they? Even refurb ones.
Oh, yeah. Get a refurbished M1 iMac if that's all you can afford, but get the M4 if you can, and tell us what color you get.
Right. I wonder, maybe it's an old, Dalmatian or flower iMac, blueberry, or even the Bondi Blue. Maybe is it as far back as that? With the
Yeah, I can see how
CRT
that would have
screen?
problems importing photos into iPhoto version 1.
Onto his massive 20 megabyte hard drive.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I would love
yeah.
that to be the case.
Even so, the 217. That's an
Intel
M series. That's an Intel one. Yeah.
Yeah. So if his partner's is a 2017, and it sort of sounds like his is older than that. I mean, yeah, I'd upgrade them.
Honestly,
both.
a big problem I foresee is that if he buys a new M1 iMac, his partner's going to want one too. So
Right.
budget
budget for that as well.
Yeah, buy two for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I like the purple one. That's my favorite. Well, it looks like unfortunately we do have time for your Apple Watch review. So why don't you tell us what your thoughts are?
Yeah, I really liked it. I was, I've been wearing an Ultra for I don't know what, 3-4 years now, however long since the original one came out, and I'm a big Ultra fan. And I liked it basically for the bigger screen, obviously, and the battery life. The battery life for me was a game changer because I didn't have to really think about the charging schedule. And of course you can wear it at night, and this is what I think the Series 11 really is a game changer because it goes from the battery life now is 24 hours versus 18 hours from the Series 10, and so this allows you to wear the thing all day and all night, and you can get your sleep score, which I've become obsessed with in iOS 26 and watchOS, whatever it is. They have a sleep score.
It's also
now.
26.
26,
They
it's
made it
simple
easier.
now.
26,
Yeah,
right?
Don't
Okay.
overthink it.
That sleep score, although so now it has your watch monitors your sleep, how often you wake up, how often you're in the different zones of sleep, how deep sleep, REM sleep, and gives you a score in the morning, an easy to see score on a score to 100. So I've been checking it obsessively in the morning just to see how I scored and how it tallied with how I felt and how I slept. And you can do this now on the Series 11, which I think a lot of people used to, didn't do this with their previous series Apple Watches. They would tend to charge them up at night. But this thing now has fast charging, so you can get up to 8 hours of use just from 15 minutes. And this is what I've been doing with my Ultra. I don't charge my Ultra overnight. I charge it in the morning when I go to work, and I sit down in front of my computer with a cup of coffee. I stick it on the charging stand, and then usually by lunchtime it's charged up, and I can put the thing
at a
back
time
on
when
again.
you're going to be sitting down and it's not going to lose on
Right.
tracking your activity.
Yeah, exactly. So, and so for the first time, this is what the Apple Watch 11, Series 11 gives you, and I think it's amazing. So it's all the benefits of the Ultra without the bulk. It's got the bigger screen, it's got the longer battery life, a whole bunch of sensors. It's losing a few features, but nothing that I use anyway, in my day to day with the Ultra. So
The
I
siren.
really liked it. The siren, I was going to mention the siren. Yeah, it doesn't have a siren, which actually is kind of useless. Which I don't think it's really that loud. You can barely hear it across the garden.
Oh, come on, man. if you tumble down a cliff somewhere, you're going to be very happy you got the siren.
We'll see.
I think
We'll see.
another change that the Ultra has, I guess, which is important for people in really dense urban areas, is that it has the dual band GPS, which makes it more precise for going around cities. But again, if you're getting walking directions, I think most people would probably just do that from their iPhone anyway. So yeah, you win some, you lose some.
I was a little skeptical whether I'd like it or not. I haven't, like I said, I've been wearing an Ultra forever, and so really, I like the bulk. For me, the bulk is a feature, not a bug. And
I like that I can't pull my shirt sleeve over it.
Yeah, but actually, that is an advantage because, when you're cycling and stuff like that, at least it keeps my shirt sleeves away so I can see the watch, and I don't have to mess with it. So, and I was skeptical that I would like the regular Series watch. I thought I'd be kind of indifferent to it. But after 3 weeks of wearing it, 3-4 weeks, I really did like it. I really grew on me. And then the size became more important. Like you said, it can slip under a sleeve much easier, and it's not a big bulky thing that you're wearing on your wrist. It's a really lovely device. The screen is absolutely beautiful.
And if you get the big one, it has virtually the same display size as the Apple Watch Ultra, but
Right.
without the giant bezel around it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's lovely. I think it's a really, really good, really good device. And of course, it comes in at what is it? $499. Starts at $499.
It's not even that much. It's not even
I
that
think
much,
it's
is it?
$399.
$399.
Yeah, $429 for the big one, I believe. Live fact check: $399, $699 for titanium, and $429 for 46 millimeter. Yeah, so it's the same as it's been like forever: $399 and $429, depending on size.
Right, which of course is a lot less than the Ultra, isn't it? So
Yeah.
which is
Although if you want the shiny one, which I think is the more attractive one, you do have to get the $699 one if you want the shiny gold. I don't know. I've been looking at that. I think that looks kind of good. But they have the shiny black one and the regular aluminum. So I don't know.
that was the one I got. I thought it looked really good. It's really, really good, really good. And of course, it's got a harder screen now too, as well. The screen's been hardened, so more scratch-proof than ever. In fact, the first day, about 20 minutes after I put it on, I managed to scrape it across this on my front gate, which has this aluminum mesh on it that will scratch anything, you know. In fact, I scratched almost all the skin off my knee one time when I slid into it. That was like, it filleted me. It was awful, and the skin was actually stuck onto the onto the metal mesh as well. So I could see it there. It was like something out of bloody Hellraiser. Anyway, so I scraped the watch across it, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're joking!" But I looked down, not a nary a scratch on it, nothing, no marks at all. So that's really good. Yeah, it's a lovely watch, and I think $429 is actually a really pretty good price for one of these devices. You know, I can literally save your life, and it'll tell you how much sleep you're getting. The one thing I wanted to say about the sleep score, though, is that it's still not actionable. You get all this data, and you can look into it, and it'll tell you like how much REM sleep, how much deep sleep, how much core sleep, whatever, how many times you woke up, and I find it is really accurate. I was looking at one of them, and I was like, a couple of weekends ago on a Saturday, it had me asleep in the after. Anyway, it picked up a nap I had. Sometimes it gets confused if you.
And that was a weekend.
Yeah, but it was super accurate. The timing was perfect. Like exactly when I fell asleep, exactly when
That's
I woke
pretty
up.
impressive, actually. I didn't know it. I just assumed it only started paying attention for that, around the normal bedtime where you fall asleep. But that's cool that it picks up when you're asleep during the day. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I was totally surprised by that, and so it can sometimes get a little bit confused. Like if you lie on the couch, sometimes it kind of thinks that may be sleep. I haven't totally dug into that because it does record I think if you lie in bed reading too before you fall asleep, it sometimes I think. I'm not 100% sure. I have to double check on this whether it can tell the difference between lying in bed reading and when you actually fall asleep. And I think it does, but I'd have to double check. The one thing is though, it's not actionable. Like if you try and I have trouble. I've had trouble with insomnia, trouble getting to sleep. Sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I can't get back to sleep. And that was always the problem with these sleep scores. It's like, okay, I woke up in the middle of the night. I already knew that. So what good is that? I started to do a little bit of Googling around, did a bit of search, and I was looking at Whoop, which is an alternative fitness band. It doesn't have a screen. They have a really good journaling app, which allows you to set up these little micro experiments with the sleep tracking on the Whoop band. So if you want to, and you have to do this scientifically. So you decide to change one factor only, one variable, and to see its results on your sleep patterns. So one week you say, okay, no coffee after 3 p.m. in the afternoon, no coffee later in the day, and so you'll do that for a week, and you put this in and you can put this in the Whoop Journal app, right? No coffee, and it'll tell you whether that has any effect on your sleep score, and you can do this with blue lights in the evening, alcohol, eating later in the day, changing all these kind of different variables, different factors to see whether it has any effect. And it seemed to me, I haven't actually used this Whoop thing, but I was reading some forums about it, and they were saying that, this is a really good system. And I think this is what Apple needs to bring to to the sleep score. Is some way to change these variables and see whether it's actually having any effect on your sleep. I'd love to see that in some future version of the health app, or the future versions of iOS. That's the only thing. That's the only complaint I had about it, was that it's not really. You get all this data, but it's still not actionable unless you want to set it up for yourself. You can obviously do this yourself and try to do these experiments.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool, yeah.
I heard a number of people who use both Apple sleep tracking and the app Sleep Plus Plus by David Smith saying that both of them give you a score out of 100 overnight. And people are saying that Apple's gives you a much nicer number. Like sometimes it'll be like double what Sleep Plus Plus does.
Apple grades on a curve.
Having said all this, like I was obsessed with the sleep score and I was checking every single day. And then like 2 nights ago, I actually had a terrible night's sleep. And then I got the highest number I've had to date.
What?
It said, oh yeah, excellent sleep, 86 or something like that, super high. I was like, what the? Anyway, so I don't want to ruin this whole thing by throwing that in, but there you have it. I've got to look into that one. I don't know why it gave me such a high score when I actually did have a dreadful, dreadful night's sleep.
What does it calculate on? Sleep duration, bedtime consistency, and the number of times you wake up during the night.
There's a ton of data in their thing. I was impressed that it uses all the different sensors. So it's looking at your blood oxygen, wrist temperature, heart rate, and the accelerometer to see, this all gets fed into the algorithm to see whether, into which different sleep stages you're in. I was really skeptical about this. So like, how does it know if I'm dreaming? Like, is it looking at my eyelids, to see if they're flickering, and how does it know about deep and core sleep and stuff like that? But it said it's validated with 5 million nights of sleep data from some study they did. 5 million nights, which is a lot. And also it's looking for sleep apnea, and I haven't got a notification about that yet. And I guess has it been a month yet?
Yeah, it's been a month.
And I've been using them on the beta too, so I should have got if I had sleep apnea, I probably should have got a notification by now. So I haven't got one, so I guess I haven't got it. So
what about hypertension?
Well, I already have that. But I haven't got any alerts. I take a daily pill. I could take a drug to manage my hypertension. So I haven't got any alerts about that either.
Well, just stop taking it for a while and see when it happens.
Yeah, we'll see. You'll have I'll be like this.
Yeah. Jeez.
Make for good podcasting.
I don't know if I'm going to do that. Go that far. Yeah. So that's the Apple Watch 11, Series 11. Great watch.
Worth the wait.
Well, maybe you can you? I actually started. I was working on it last night, and I added a few more notes to my document that I'm going to start writing. I'm just going to take this. I mean, basically, it's all here in these notes, isn't it? All I got to do is expand on this a little bit. I might keep out the stuff about the Whoop. I don't know.
I think it's a good comparison point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are other sleep apps that you can use.
Yeah, I used to use Sleep Plus Plus.
On the Apple Watch.
I haven't looked at it forever. Is it worth downloading?
I don't use it myself. I've just heard it from people who do use it as well.
Yeah. And I just saw one. Just got an update called Pillow, which I had never heard of. There's all these different. I mean, that's the thing. There's so many of these different apps, and it's hard to tell like which ones are really good and do they actually help. And God.
So maybe there's a third-party app that does this. Allows you to set up.
That's what I'm wondering. 58. My sleep score was 58. 6 hours of sleep. Bedtime, blew it. Oh, well.
The actionable thing that it gives you is, don't stay up until 3 a.m. playing darts.
Stop playing darts, right?
Well, let's wrap it up there. I think that's all the CultCast we have for you this week, so no more torture. Thanks for listening if you got this far. If you want to have more keep the fun going. Lewis is on Twitter at Lewis Wallace. Griffin's on Mastodon at dgriffinjones, and I write the Cultimate newsletter every day. You can find that at newsletters.cultimate.com. So please send us a text link. Send us a text message using the link at the top of the show notes or in the YouTube comments. We should revamp the whole question system. I was thinking about that, ways to do it. But anyway, in the meantime, until we do that, this is how to send us a question. And please do. We'd love to answer your questions, even if we do give nonsensical answers. So that's been the CultCast, the best hour-long Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank you guys very much for listening, for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Goodbye.
Happy Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Happy Halloween. That's right.
Scary. When is it?
Well, it's tomorrow or today, depending on when you're listening to the podcast.
Oh, my goodness, really?
Yeah, you better go get some candy. It's your one authorized candy buying moment of the year, Leander.
I used to love eating the kids' candy.
I bought a giant bowl of candy. Nobody came to trick or treat at my house. So
Did you eat it?
very slowly. It is a giant. It is a large amount of candy that I bought. So guess I know that for next year.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, let's stop everything.